Okay, welcome everybody to the briefing session in advance of our March Council meeting. So I'd like to say that we acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet. We know that this is Whadjuk land, always was and always will be. So members of the community might be aware that this evening we had intended to hold our briefing session in the community. However, due to the COVID-19 and the virus, we have instead elected to return to the council chamber this evening and hold our briefing session here, and instead live stream it to our community so that people can still access tonight's meeting. If there are any questions that arise from tonight, please feel free to email them through to the town, and the town will provide answers in advance of the meeting next week. Welcome. This evening we have an apology from Councillor Sarah Quinton. I think everybody else here is in attendance this evening. Are there any declarations from councillors for items on the agenda this evening? No. Announcements probably just still related to COVID-19. The town's giving updates regularly about our activities in the community, so some people would be aware that we have today announced that the Town of Bassendean events are being postponed until further notice, and other information will be provided regularly via the town's website. Next would have been the postcard submissions. Have there been any questions received from members of the community by email today?
There were some questions raised by Ms. Jacobson.
Yep. So are the staff who are addressing these items aware of those questions to address them at the time? Or?
Yes, I can speak to Luke.
Yep.
He hasn't received them.
And Lisa, did you have any questions at all? No. All right. So deputations. We did intend to have a deputation from Vince Siciliano and Vernon Butley, who were representing the potential buyers of the town's lot on Morley Drive East. Again, in the interest of social distancing, they have chosen not to be here this evening, but they've sent an email through to councillors late this afternoon. I might just read that out for the benefit of members of the community who would like to hear what they had to say. They said the purpose of the deputation was to verbally support the officer recommendation for item 7.1, which is the proposed sale of the town-owned lot.
Which one are you reading, Vincent?
Yes, Vincent Siciliano's. And answer any questions the councillors may have or add commentary to the commercial perspective on the matters for council to consider. Rightfully as stated, the council is under no obligation to sell the land. We are, however, in this position following a process of negotiation. Each party engaged independent valuation advice and price was agreed. Beyond agreement of price, the buyer remains interested at the price as it was established through the environmental report commissioned that the land is not contaminated. Without the inclusion of this property, any redevelopment of the combined land areas would be constrained beyond the topography of the land to adequately design the desired retail/commercial to satisfy our client and provide the town a suitable footprint and scale to incorporate residential development. The acquisition of Lot 5 is only the first step before any concept could be approved and ultimately developed. As we are seeing right now around the world and Australia, uncertain economic times as a result of a pandemic, strain to health systems, loss of lives and the inevitable loss of jobs will ultimately determine the commercial viability of any investment to this land. We look forward to hearing the council's discussion and reading the minutes ahead of the next council meeting. So, just a question for our staff. I understand, I hope that any questions raised tonight that could be directed towards Vince, if they were here, we can take note of them and maybe ask them in the interim and provide them for the agenda.
Yes.
Great. Okay, so we'll move right on to reports, and the first report, 7.1, is in relation to this item, so it's the disposal of Lot 5, Morley Drive East. Mr Gibson was there. Would you like to speak to this initially?
Don't think there's a lot to add. We've had a number of council workshops about this. It's been to council prior to the advertising. This report is dealing with the process of local government post-advertising. The submissions were received broadly. We interpret there as support for the sale of the property. We note there was a couple of emails of director councillors that didn't run through the platform, so weren't included, but we can add some